Chris on that side. Chris on that side. एकदम कैमरा सामने हो.
Do we have a study session today?
No. Just like assistance. Then he'll come in front. You get back to this one, the
Use the font of spaces.
Good morning, dear devotees and friends. I welcome you all to this Vivekananda birthday celebration. And on this day, we are also celebrating his Tithi Puja, because our institution will be closed for 2 months, January and February. So none of us will be here. So we are celebrating his puja, Tithi Puja. That will be on the 21st, that also today. So, along with that, another photo you can see, that is Swami Turiyananda Ji Maharaj. So both of them are the brother disciples. They were the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And the Swami Turiyananda, when he was a very young boy, he used to practice Advaita Vedanta. And Advaita Vedanta say, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the soul, I am eternal. I think 12 or 14 years, the young boy, he went to bathe in the Ganga. He was in Bagbajar area of Calcutta, North Calcutta. He went to that Ganges. Then suddenly people saw that a crocodile. They all came out. But this young boy, in the beginning he was afraid, Swami Turiyananda, and he wanted to come out. Then suddenly he remembered, hey, I am practicing jnana. So I am not the body. Even if the crocodile is coming and killing me, it doesn't matter to me. I am eternal. So he stayed there in the water. Everyone was shouting, you should come out, and somehow that crocodile perhaps understood. There is a great Vedantin, so I should not go. So crocodile didn't come, and the boy was sick. He was so sincere. He used to meditate hours and hours. And he came to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and then Sri Ramakrishna told that you should not behave like this. He will never look to the women because the celibacy and all. But no, you should not do like that. Sri Ramakrishna slowly changed him, and he became the very good friend of Swami Vivekananda. He was an Advaita Vedanti. He never wanted to leave the Himalaya, Swami Turiyananda. But when Swami Vivekananda said, I am dying to work for my master, won't you come and help me here? Immediately he left his meditation and joined him in Europe and America. And he was in San Francisco, and that's called Chanting. They are now keeping it as a retreat center, Shanti Ashrama. It's still now, I once visited, still now it is a very, very remote. Nothing is there. And he took some of the American boys and girls and the Americans to be there to meditate with him. And he taught them, he converted them as very great yogis. They became yogis. Conversion not in the sense of the usually we use. It is completely changing the mind. The day he became that. Today is also his Tithi Puja. So I am very happy because he loved Vivekananda. And the day he heard that Vivekananda is sick, immediately he left everything and he sailed for Calcutta. But when he was almost near to India, he saw Vivekananda. He said to him, you know that I left this body as a disused garment. That I have used this body for 40 years. Now I am leaving it and going away. When he reached Vivekananda was no more, that he went back to his, again, the meditative life from Turiyananda. If you are interested, you can read his letters of Swami Ishatmananda. Those who are interested about the jnana is excellent. And then Swami Vivekananda, you know that, and the idol of the youth. The youth means 2D. It is a dream and dedication. That is for youth. Of course, they say from 16 to 32, that is the youth. That may be by age. But if you don't have the dream, you must have a dream. I am going to change the world. I should do this, I should do that. That is for youth. always there is a dream to do something new, something positive, to help others. That is called the youth mind. And not only dreaming, lying down and dreaming, that won't help. The dream means you have to transform the dream into action. And how is that possible? How is that possible, that dream? That then determination. I am going to completely finish this. The dream and determination, this 2D, is a symbol of the youth. And Swami Vivekananda had that. Once he heard Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he went to Samadhi, and after coming back, he said, so you cannot help people, but you can serve people. Jive daya. Daya means helping with the compassion. No, you cannot do that. You are an ordinary person. Only God can do that. But what you can do, you can serve people. It's a completely different view. I cannot go and help people, but I can serve people. There are so many other people who were there, disciples. Only this Narendranath, who was hardly 20 years old. And he then said, oh, what a wonderful word that I have learned, a teaching. If possible, I will teach to the whole world. Dream. And then determination. After the passing away of his Guru, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he started traveling to see the condition of the ordinary masses in the whole India. Whole length and breadth he traveled. And he came to know about the rich people, educated people, ordinary people. And then he was the first monk, a Hindu monk, who was meditating not on the God of heaven, but on the people. How to help them. They had lost everything. So Vivekananda meditated on the rock of Kanyakumari. That's the last point of India. And 3 days and 3 nights he meditated without food and water. And he got the message of the God that you have to go to the West, tell them, because this is the new rising sun. You have to go and tell them that will come back to India. Otherwise, this moment India is not ready to understand your messages. Eva Kendra Bharat Bharsha, he said in Bengali. Now the center is India, but I am going to ring the bell somewhere else. Then he saw, in the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, that he came all the way to America. Now friends, we have 6 young speakers in the new outlook and the new way they like to present Swami Vivekananda. Before our Shakti, he'll be introducing them, he'll be the MCs today. But before that, let us offer our pranam to Swami Vivekananda. You have this paper? So, please repeat after me. The 2 mantras, but the first mantra that you are having, Om Namah Sri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapoharine. This is the pranam mantra of Swamiji, but I don't know. I don't think that the Vivekananda Dhyana mantra, they're meditating on Vivekananda. Please repeat after me, I will break it and then say. Om Vishwacharyam Jagatwandam Vivekananda Rupinam Videshwarat Samutpannam Saptarshi Mandalagatam Jnana Bhakti Pradataram Padmaksha Gauravigraham Dhyayedevam Yatipunjam Lokakalyanam Karinam Lokakalyanam Karinam Shakti. Now
Come there, you have to go there.
we have to see you,
Hear you.
appreciate you, but you have to hold this. I'll be coming and we'll be chanting mantras.
Okay, where the other one also? Other way.
Good morning. My name is Shakti. Thank you, Swamiji. We have 6 guest speakers today. Thank you for taking time to come over today and share your thoughts about Swami Vivekananda. And the first one, we have Aryaman Haki. He is from Libertyville High School. He is in 11th grade and his hobby includes tennis and programming. He's going to talk about Swami Vivekananda, a great educator. Thank you, Aryaman.
Pranam Maharaj, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here on this auspicious occasion today. When I was 10 years old, I read a story about Swami Vivekananda's youth. The young Narendranath Datta was immersed in talking to his friends before classroom. So, when his instructor entered the classroom and began teaching, he kept talking. After a while of allowing Narendranath and his friends to notice that the class had begun, their instructor had decided to assert the importance of paying attention by asking him and his friends questions relating to what the instructor was teaching. The boys were unable to answer the questions, but Narendranath was able to, so the teacher assumed that he was paying attention and proceeded to scold Narendranath's friends. Narendranath, confused by the unfair scolding that his friends received, corrected the teacher and claimed that he was the one who was talking, not his friends. The story highlights the importance of the virtues of honesty and righteousness. But what's commonly overlooked is the fact that the young Vivekananda was able to answer the questions despite being the one to talk. This isn't very logical. Was this fact ignored to ensure that the theme of the story was effectively delivered? Or is there something we don't know about Swami Vivekananda's ears that allowed him to listen to his instructor while talking to his friends? Swami Vivekananda believed that education is the manifestation of perfection residing within people. Education allows virtues like honesty, courage, and responsibility that may be dormant within people to grow and blossom. Consequently, Narendranath's ability to answer the questions his instructor challenged him with at the moment shows how he was learning, and it reveals why he decided to admit his errors in the class. He was manifesting the virtue of honesty. If we strip this story down to its raw elements, we have a group of students and a young Vivekananda in an educational setting. Vivekananda demonstrates selflessness by admitting to a mistake he easily could have gotten away with, simply to protect his friends from a little scolding. This decision is a reflection of Swami Vivekananda's selfless contributions to the philosophy of education through religion to better the quality of education for students worldwide. Swami Vivekananda was a great advocate for universal harmony, and he incessantly preached universal harmony. The reason he preaches so is because it paves the way for unity amongst religions. Now, why is this significant for education? Within religion, there is virtue. Every religion provides a mindset that allows a person to spiritually develop themselves. Be it the commandment of loving your enemies from Christianity, or the utmost importance of responsibility for oneself in the Quran. Religions provide key spiritual guidelines that, when followed, leads one to the spiritual development of oneself and one's character. Religion allows one to manifest perfection within oneself. The importance of harmony is explained by Swami Vivekananda during his speech on Hinduism in Chicago, where he referenced the Vedas from Hindu scripture. The Vedas are the revelations of Hinduism. Swami Vivekananda mentions the Vedas to develop the concept that achieving a revelation does not mean to create a revelation from scratch. The philosophy being attained already exists. It is a deep spiritual focus that allows one to find the philosophy. As Vivekananda explains, just as the law of gravitation existed before its discovery, and would exist if all humanity forgot it, so is it with the laws that govern the spiritual world. This is significant because later, Vivekananda connects the idea of existence before discovery to God and creation. God has always existed, and so has God's creations. And as people who are amongst God's creations, we have always existed in and are ourselves. That doesn't make much sense, does it? But if you consider the ideology of a past life, which Vivekananda was very fond of, it can justify that people could have always existed. But in our past lives, we have existed in different bodies and different conditions. So what part of us continues to exist then? This is where Vivekananda states that the Hindu believes that he is a spirit. The spirit is what has always existed, and within that spirit are immutable properties such as character and personality that pass from life to life. The stagnance of the spirits of people is how Vivekananda explains the necessity of accepting one another. Quoting Vivekananda again, if a seed is put in the ground, and earth and air and water are placed around it, does the seed become the earth or air or the water? No, it becomes a plant. It develops after the law of its own growth. It assimilates the air, the earth, and the water, converts them into plant substance, and grows into a plant. Vivekananda does not wish for a Christian to become a Hindu. He simply wants people to accept each other for who their spirits are. And if people are in harmony with one another, like how the seed was able to grow with the help of the air, the earth, and the water, people will be able to grow with the help of each other. If this is truly done, the people can grow and flourish in a cooperative society as they're meant to. Conversely, quoting Swami Vivekananda, real education is that which enables one to stand on one's own legs. Education must provide a life-building, man-making, character-making assimilation of ideas. One ability he refers to when talking about standing on one's own legs is self-control, which Swami Vivekananda sought to include the teaching of in education. With self-control, a person is able to attain self-discipline, honesty, responsibility, and other virtues. The reason Swami Vivekananda emphasized the development of self-control through education of the people is because a nation depends on its people. This means that the people influence the nation, and if the people lack the mental and spiritual strength to make the right decision, the nation will fail to support the people. Therefore, Swami Vivekananda's philosophy of manifesting perfection in oneself is a great advancement in the philosophy of education because of its direct effect on the capabilities of the people in a nation. Additionally, in establishing that spiritual philosophies have always existed and are to be discovered, Vivekananda establishes that spiritual learning is eternal. Education has no end, and so people should never stop seeking knowledge. There is another story about Swami Vivekananda's youth that emphasizes his character through developing himself. Narendranath Datta was often imitating monks and gurus with his friends, and he and his friends would often compare to see who could meditate the longest without being distracted. One day, while playing this game, a snake appeared from the bushes surrounding the children and alarmingly approached them. All the children, frightened by the sound of hissing, opened their eyes and ran away in fear, all except for beloved Narendranath. The young Swami Vivekananda was so focused on his meditation that that he was completely unable to hear the hissing of the snake. And even as the snake approached him, he did not falter. After a while, the snake left, and all of Narendranath's friends came back to the shock of his calm face still deep in meditation. This story represents a combination of Vivekananda's beliefs. Education is ideal when done by oneself, and education's purpose is learning to be. By imitating the monks with dedication, he was able to move away from simply holding a stance to being immersed in mental tranquility via the medium of a yoga pose. He shifted from the idea of learning to do to learning to be. Vivekananda aimed to improve modern education by drawing attention to the fact that education systems teach students to do rather than to be. In his analysis of modern educational institutions, he explains that by teaching students through monotonous repetition, they will never learn to be able to be. Learning to be is synonymous with understanding why what is being learned is beneficial. Let us look at this through an example. If a child is never taught how to be a good friend, how will they be able to understand what a good friend is? How will they be able to find trustworthy friends? They might not even know why being a good friend is important if they've never had one or been one. If we extend this example to all the moral virtues, such as courage, discipline, and respect, which Swami Vivekananda deeply emphasizes, how will people peacefully interact with one another? Not teaching these important values is associated with Atmavidya, which means ignorance. The opposite of Atmavidya is Vidya. The opposite of ignorance is education. For those of you wondering why the young Swami Vivekananda ignored the snake in the story earlier, this is why the snake left Narendranath unharmed. The snake neared Narendranath, but as soon halted to the face of serenity. The snake then bowed with respect and left. We might not know whether the stories we read of Swami Vivekananda and his youth are real or not, but we do know that they represent the character Swami Vivekananda has built himself to be. As a great religious philosopher and educator, Vivekananda has greatly developed the philosophy behind what education is meant to be. And as a student, I greatly express my gratitude towards Vivekananda because he believes in our ability to be great people. Let us augment our minds with what Vivekananda has taught us to honor his legacy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Arya. The next speaker is Arya Sarkar, studying at Northside College Preparatory High School, 9th grade. The hobbies includes flute, drawing, and weightlifting. Arya is going to talk about Swami Vivekananda, a talented disciple of Sri Ramakrishna.
Pranam to Swamiji and to Swami Vivekananda, and good morning to everyone. I am Arja Sarkar, a daughter, a sister, a devotee, and a representative of the youth. It is a privilege to speak about one of the greatest spiritual leaders of all time, Swami Vivekananda. While he is celebrated globally for rejuvenating Hinduism and spreading its eternal truths abroad, the seeds of his greatness were sown in his remarkable childhood. Today, I want to take you on a journey through those early years, exploring how the experiences and values he gained during this time shaped the towering personality who went on to transform the world. The sacred beginning. Swami Vivekananda, born as Narendranath Datta, entered this world on January 12, 1863 at 6:33 in the morning, just before sunrise. It was the auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, a festival that draws millions of devotees to the banks of the Ganga. As the air reverberated with prayers and hymns, a young Narendranath took his first breath. a fitting start for someone who would later lead humanity to transform the world. Before his birth, his mother, Swami Vivekananda, had prayed fervently to Lord Shiva for a son who would honor the family and serve the world. Her devotion was unwavering, and in a dream, Lord Shiva promised to be born as his son. When her prayers were answered, she gave him Dureshwara, a tribute to Lord Shiva. Though the family affectionately called him Narendra, or Naren, the divine connection to Shiva would become a defining trait of his life. From the very beginning, Narendra was destined to follow a spiritual path that would resonate with the ideals of renunciation, fearlessness, and truth. Early spirituality and introspection. As a child, Narendra exhibited a deep love for Hindu deities. Inspired by his mother's teachings, he would create small altars and worship idols, especially those of Rama and Sita. But his young mind was restless and analytical. When he heard someone describe marriage as a terrible bondage, he reconsidered his devotion to Rama and Sita, shifting his focus instead to Lord Shiva, the ultimate symbol of renunciation. This marked the beginning of his quest for truth, unbound by societal norms or traditions. From a young age, he experienced a strange vision. When he was about to fall asleep, closing his eyes, he would see between his eyebrows a ball of light, of changing colors, which would slowly expand and at last burst, bathing his whole body in a white radiance. Watching this light, he would gradually fall asleep. Since it was a daily occurrence, he regarded the phenomenon as a common to all people, and was surprised when a friend denied ever having seen such a thing. Years later, however, Narendra's spiritual teacher, Sri Ramakrishna, said to him, "Naren, my boy, do you see a light when you go to sleep?" Ramakrishna knew that such a vision indicated a great spiritual past and an inborn habit of meditation. The vision of light remained with Narendra until the end of his life, though later it lost its regularity and intensity. The seeds of fearlessness and rationality. Narendra's childhood was marked by an innate fearlessness. Once, he and his friends were warned that a tree they loved to climb was haunted by a ghost who would harm anyone disturbing it. While the other boys were frightened, Naren climbed the tree with ease, broke some branches, and called out, "Look, my neck is still intact. Don't believe anything blindly without proof." This episode encapsulates the future message to the world. Do not believe anything simply because tradition says so. Question, reason, and find the truth for yourself. This bold approach later became a cornerstone of his teachings, inspiring generations to challenge superstition and embrace rationality. Lessons from his mother. Bhuvaneshwari Devi, Narendra's mother, played a profound role in shaping his character. When he once complained of being unjustly treated at school, she consoled him with words that became his lifelong guiding principle. Always follow the truth, regardless of the consequences. Her emphasis on truth and moral courage profoundly influenced Naren. Years later, he credited her for his unwavering commitment to truth, saying, "I am indebted to my mother for whatever knowledge I have acquired." This foundation of honesty and resilience was pivotal in his spiritual and social mission. Early signs of compassion and equality. Even as a boy, Naren was deeply compassionate and questioned societal inequalities. In his father's office, he noticed separate tobacco pipes for clients of different castes. As per Hindu customs, As for Hindu customs, Naren deliberately smoked from each pipe, including the one reserved for Muslims, and declared, "I see no difference." This incident foreshadowed his lifelong fight against discrimination and his vision of universal brotherhood. Later, as Swami Vivekananda, he would passionately advocate for equality, declaring, "The soul has no caste, creed, or gender. We are all one." Meditation and mystical experiences. From an early age, Naren was drawn to meditation. Alongside a friend, he would sit before an image of Shiva, closing his eyes and trying to emulate the yogis of ancient India. His meditative states were often so deep that he lost all awareness of the external world. On one occasion, he had a vision of a serene figure resembling the Buddha, carrying a monk's staff and a water bowl. Though he was startled and left the room, this experience planted the seeds of his future renunciation and spiritual quest. The spirit of inquiry, Naren's insatiable curiosity and questioning nature were evident in his interactions with others. He would often ask spiritual leaders, "Have you seen God?" Dissatisfied with vague answers, his quest for direct realization led him to Sri Ramakrishna, the mystic who ultimately became his guru. Sri Ramakrishna's profound influence helped Naren discover the divine within himself and solidified his mission to serve humanity. Conclusion. The making of a global visionary. The values and experiences of Naren's childhood, fearlessness, rationality, compassion, and spiritual depth, shaped him into Swami Vivekananda, a leader who redefined Hinduism and brought its timeless wisdom to the global stage. His insistence on truth, equality, and self-realization inspired countless people, bridging the gap between the spiritual and the practical. As we reflect on his early life, we see how a strong foundation of values and courage can empower us to achieve greatness. Thank you.
Thank you, Arja. Our next speaker is Pratima Kennedy. She is doing 10th grade at the Lake Park High School, and she's a singer and a dancer. She's going to talk about Swami Vivekananda, a divine orator.
Good morning, Swamiji and respected devotees. As a 15-year-old first-generation Gen Z kid, when Swamiji gave me the topic of Swami Vivekananda, a divine orator, the most I knew about him were a couple of TED Talks about his speeches, a handful of Bangla school lessons, the Ganges retreat, and a portrait I painted of him in 3rd grade. Through my research for this speech, I learned that Swami Vivekananda is regarded as a thoughtful, influential, and divine orator because his speeches were fueled by deep philosophical insight, spiritual wisdom, and practical relevance, which address the needs of his audience and transform their perception of life, religion, and humanity. His words not only inspired people, but also influenced global thought on interfaith dialogue, human unity, and personal empowerment. Let me take you back to 1893, where his words once shook the entire world. At the Parliament of World Religions in Chicago, Swami Vivekananda whom at the time was only 30 years old, started his speech in front of hundreds of people by saying, "Sisters and brothers of America." This simple phrase caused the whole hall to erupt into applause that lasted for over 2 minutes. It wasn't just a greeting. It was a radical statement of universal kinship that transcended race, nationality, and religion. That was the magic of Swami Vivekananda's voice and personality. But how did a simple boy from Kolkata become such a powerful speaker? It all started when he met his guru, Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna, and his life changed forever. Under his guidance, Narendra became Swami Vivekananda. His voice became more than just a sound. It became a force that could move people's hearts. When he spoke, it wasn't just words people heard. They felt energy, strength, and truth in every sentence. Now, Swami Vivekananda never used fancy words just to impress people. He spoke from his heart with honesty and deep understanding. Whether he was talking to poor villagers or educated city people, he knew exactly how to connect with them. He could explain the deepest ideas about life and religion in ways that even youth could understand. For example, during India's independence struggle, he inspired many youth by saying, "Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached." He wasn't just offering motivational words. He was calling for a radical transformation of society and unification. As someone who wants to one day benefit this society for better, I feel empowered by these words to make a meaningful impact on the world. Swami Vivekananda didn't just talk about religion. He talked about making India strong, helping the poor, and educating everyone, especially women. At a time when gender equality was not discussed, he wanted nations to address how they treated their women. He said, "The best thermometer to the progress of a nation is in its treatment of their women. And educate your women first and leave them to themselves. Then they will tell you what reforms are necessary for them. In matters concerning them, who are you?" At a time when women's empowerment was not relevant in society, he envisioned equality and inclusivity as key to progress, delivering this idea convincingly to close-minded citizens. Even now, in some places, women aren't allowed to speak to one another or even go to the doctor. Swami Vivekananda's words of equality still ring true, and his ideas of social justice are more relevant than ever. However, his words especially affected people during a divide between the East and the West, where he connected tradition and modernity. During a religious inclusivity meeting, he stated, "We Hindus do not merely tolerate. We unite ourselves with every religion, praying in the mosque of the Mohammedan, worshiping before the fire of the Zoroastrian, and kneeling to the cross of the Christian." In the same speech, he stated, "Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence and drenched it often. But their time has come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell to all fanaticism." This powerful plea for universal brotherhood transcended religious differences and highlighted human unity, which is still very much needed today. His words also connected science and spirituality by stating, "Science and religion are both necessary for the advancement of humanity." His framework bridged the spiritual and material aspects of human progress, leaving a deep impression on intellectual and academic audiences who previously did not understand this connection. Swami Vivekananda's integrated vision viewed science and religion as complementary paths to truth, science deals with the external world, and religion deals with the divinity in you. Adding on to that, Swami Vivekananda addressed timeless human values and issues that go above cultural boundaries. His words, "The education which does not help a common man to equip himself for the struggle of life, which does not bring out the strength of character and self-respect within him, is not education at all." This idea holds powerful relevance today, emphasizing practical skills and especially moral character in education systems. He has also said, "We are what our thoughts have made us, so take care of what you think. Words are secondary, thoughts live, they travel far." These words resonated deeply with philosophical minds and practical thinkers and are still very relevant today. His speeches were like thunder, powerful and attention-grabbing, but they were also like gentle rain, soothing and life-giving. He can make people laugh with clever jokes and the next moment move them to tears with stories of human suffering. That's why he was called a divine orator. He was someone whose words seemed to come from a higher power. Even today, more than 100 years later, when we read or hear Swami Vivekananda's speeches, they are impactful, relevant, and meaningful. His words about unity, peace, and even the strength of youth are perhaps even more important now than they were in his time. He showed us that speaking isn't just about using nice words. It's about touching hearts and changing lives. In the age of social media and technology, Swami Vivekananda would have been even more relevant. I bet he would have been the most followed creator on TikTok and especially Facebook. With the amount of pressing issues in today's society, his evergreen or Sanatan values and thought process would have influenced people of all ages to help the world. Influencers are using his messages to create a positive community online, which helps so many people use his words to brighten not only their lives, but so many others. Societies like our Ramakrishna Mission, religious or non-religious communities, politicians, motivational speakers, businessmen, you name it, are all spreading his messages in one way or another, even if they don't realize it. If I want you to take anything from my understanding of how divine an orator Swami Vivekananda was, take this. Divinity is love, and that's how he was able to spread his ideas so profoundly. With his connection to so many diverse audiences, he was able to convey all differences in this world are of degree and not of kind, because oneness is the secret to everything. And in one word, this ideal is that you are divine. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Swamiji will play now.
I thought I was a good speaker. Now, after hearing these three, I'm losing my confidence. So wonderful speakers. And really, you have presented so wonderfully the Vivekananda's childhood, Vivekananda's view on education, and the way they speak and they present is really wonderful. Vivekananda's influence that actually he gave a wonderful talk in the Parliament of India that changed the psyche of the whole world. Previously, people used to think about India as a dark country, they do not know much anything, and that changed the whole world. But particularly intelligentsia, the educated poor, they understood that India is enlightened right from the beginning of the civilization. Their Vedas and Upanishads, they came to know about that. And India got back the self-confidence as they were speaking. He gave one speech, hardly 5 minutes, and the whole India was submerged, electrified, because it was under the subjugation for almost 700 to 800 years. And you can imagine, if it is 800 years under the subjugation, you lose everything of all your originality. Vivekananda's speech, Vivekananda's talk, delivered over here in Chicago at the Parliament of Religion, that is in the Art Institute. Still that small way they had kept the hall. It was nearly 7,000 people that attended. Now 400 sitting capacity, small hall, they are still maintaining. Almost all Indians they go, and because they all know that this is the place from where the life came back to us. You can do. What he said? Self-confidence. The unique way he presented. When he came to America, he saw a land, truly free country, free land. And he wrote back, you know, when the people are coming from the Eastern Europes, and we saw their gates are hanging on their chest, they lost their whole self-confidences. But when they come to America, the American atmosphere whispered, Pat, you can do it. Tom, you can do it. And within 6 months, they get back their self-confidence. That is the uniqueness of America. They give back the self-confidence through the freedom. And that he took back to India, gave them. You can do it. Thank you, friends, and we are eager to hear other three. But before that, all these senior people sitting over here, they should also do something. So let us chant this mantra, this song. I think the back page, second page, the first song. It's all Sanskrit, but you can chant after me, repeat after me. This is the first one. Anita Drisheshu Vivita Nityam Tasmin Samadhata Ihasma Leelaya Viveka Vairagya Vishuddha Chityam Yoso Viveki Tamaham Namami. Tam means thou, aham means me, namami, bow down. Tam aham namami. Viveka Ananda Nimagna Chityam Viveka Danaika Vinodashilam Viveka Bhasa Kamaniya Gandhim Vivekinam Tam Satatam Namami. Satatam, every time, always, Namami, I bow down. Why? Because you are giving me a teaching, so I understand what is good and what is bad. The moment we lose that particular faculty, we do not understand what is good and what is bad. Some friends, they come and say, "Do you like to smoke?" I said, "Yes, yes." Then we go, and then we join. Then afterwards, I became a smoker. I can't leave. So that is the way we ruin our life. So you have to discriminate. No, I'm not going to do that. That is a bad thing. So young people should always consult with their parents. Why? Because they're experienced. They have passed through all this. So sometimes we think, oh, we have the story, we know it. But if you are not experiencing it, you won't understand. There are people, very sweet talk, and they will mesmerize you, but they may give bad ideas and habits. So you have to overcome that. The moment you are 20, 21, no problem. So you are experienced, you know how to rule the world. So that's why Viveka means discrimination. Viveka means understanding good and bad. And that he is giving to us. Ritam cha vijnanam adhisrayataya nirantaram chadi adhyantahinam sukham surupam prakaroti yasya anandamurtim tamaham namami. Anandamurti. What is religion? Why we go to synagogue, churches, mosque, temple? Why we go over there? To get Ananda. Ananda means joy. Ananda means happiness. But if we don't get happiness over there, then why should we go there? All other places are all the time so much of suffering. It is the holy place that gives us the joy, the Ananda. So we have to remember this. Ananda, happiness is our life's goal. Not to become a doctor or an engineer, not to become a professor or some whatever in the profession. But it is Ananda, it is the happiness, it is the joy. That is the ultimate goal, and that gives religion. Suryo yatha dhammi tamo nihanti Vishnur yatha dushta janan chinati tathaiva yasya hida netra lobham rupam tritavam vimukhi karoti. Giving an example, whenever the sun is rising, darkness goes away. When the knowledge dawns, ignorance goes away. So that is the way. So what is the power of human society? What is the strength of human society? Muscles? Strong body? No. It is the brain. It is the thought. It is the intellect. That is the power of the human. The moment that comes, all the darknesses goes away. Tam deshikendram paramam pavitram vishwasya palam madhuram yatindram hitaya nrinam naramurtimantam viveka ananda Aham Namami. I bow down to the Vivekananda because he has given us that knowledge. What is that? To love the human being, to love all beings. Because it is the religion is nothing but L-O-V-E. What is religion? Love only. And selfishness, I only should survive, I should get everything, all benefit. That is the devilish thoughts. But is the religion always gives us, we should help others, think about others, pray for others. So that is the religion, and Swami Vivekananda gave us that. Thank you. See, for my time, clapping so silent.
Thank you, Swamiji. Our next speaker is Navya Krishna. She's a 9th grader from Nekwa Valley High School. Her hobbies include flute and tennis. And she's going to talk about the Swami Vivekananda, the great yogi.
Hi everyone, first pronounced to my guru Swami Ishatmananda. When I started this research project, I thought I would have absolutely nothing in common with Swami Vivekananda. First of all, we're totally different time periods, and we're different genders, we lived in different places, but what I found was I had more in common with him than I thought. Our parents were the same devotion to their kids, and now I would like to talk about his early life. Swami Vivekananda was born as Narendra Datta on January 12, 1863 in Kolkata, India. His father, Vishwanath Datta, attorney at the Calcutta High Court, was known for his progressive and rational thinking. On the other hand, his mother, Bhuvaneshwari Devi, was deeply spiritual and devout. She influenced his spiritual inclinations with stories of the Ramayana and Mahabharata. They would often find him absorbed in thought, detached from his surroundings. He would also engage in meditation, even without fully understanding its depth. Adults who understand its depth don't even perform yoga, but him, as a child, even before fully understanding its depth, was fully engaged in meditation. As a child, he was intelligent, energetic, and he had a huge interest in music, gymnastics, and reading. From a young age, his exceptional memory and inquisitive nature stood out. He was drawn to spirituality, but was also influenced by his father's Western rationalism and liberal thinking. But from a young age, he had an intense questioning of religious beliefs and different ideals. His early education was at the Metropolitan Institution and later attended Presidency College and Scottish Church College, where he studied philosophy and Western logic. Now we must begin a spiritual quest, how he became from Narendra to Swami Vivekananda. Now he had always been curious about the existence of God and the nature of human existence. He questioned traditional beliefs and sought logic and experimental answers to spiritual questions. This led him to seek out spiritual teachers who could provide him with a direct experience of God. Then at the Dineshwar Kali temple, he met Sri Ramakrishna. One of his most famous quotes was him asking Sri Ramakrishna, "Have you seen God?" And then Sri Ramakrishna responded with, "Yes, I have seen God, just as I see you, only in a much more intense sense." Swami Vivekananda had never gotten answers to any of his questions in a way that satisfied him. But this answer made him fully trust and believe in Sri Ramakrishna. And this marked the beginning of a transformative spiritual journey for him. He was drawn to Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual experiences and unconditional love. Through this, he explored various spiritual practices and meditations. Now, he moved beyond these intellectual debates to first-hand spiritual realization. He was taught on all the unity of religions and the presence of God in every being. Dhyana, meditation, and samadhi, deep meditative absorption stages. Now, briefly under Sri Ramakrishna's guidance, he experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi,
a state of consciousness where all distinctions vanish, and the meditator merges with the absolute. Meditation on the form and formless. He was trained to meditate on deities with form, like Kali, and on the formless absolute. This reflects the Advaitic view of God being both Saguna, with attributes, and Nirguna, without attributes. After the death of Sri Ramakrishna in 1888, Narendra, along with other disciples, took monastic vows and adopted the name Swami Vivekananda. He embarked on a journey across India as a wandering monk, observing the socio-economic and spiritual conditions of people. This introspection and exposure to India's diverse traditions and diverse descriptions shaped his mission to uplift the masses through spiritual awakening and service. He then meditated in solitary and sacred places such as the Himalayas, Varanasi, and Almora. He aimed at transcending ego and realizing the unity of the Atman, soul, and Brahman, supreme consciousness. Kanyakumari, where he meditated for 3 days and nights, surrounded by the sea without any food or water, was where he realized his life mission, to serve humanity as a manifestation of the divine. His spiritual quest culminated in his recognition of the need to blend spiritual wisdom with practical action, and that the divine resides in every individual. He presented India's spiritual heritage on the global stage, most notably at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago in 1893, where he introduced the concept of religious tolerance and universal brotherhood. Now, on his philosophy of yoga, he synthesized and popularized the 4 paths of yoga: Karma Yoga, selfless action; Bhakti Yoga, devotion; Jnana Yoga, knowledge; and Raja Yoga, meditation. He emphasized the universality of yoga as a tool for self-realization and transcending religious boundaries, that attaining unity with the divine is one's highest potential. Then, in 1896, he published the seminal book Raja Yoga. This was a commentary on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, introducing Western audiences to meditation and mind control techniques. With Raja Yoga, he was able to condense what Sri Ramakrishna had taught him into something that the Western side could fully understand. He used meditation to discipline the mind, overcome desires, and achieve inner peace. Now, as a teen, we are faced with all sorts of anxieties, trying to decide what college we're going into, trying to decide what path to take in career. But Swami Vivekananda has the solution to this. One of his main things was leave the worry to God. Just do the actions. And this is very important because, especially as a teen, and I can say this for myself, we all often worry about grades and what the results of our actions will bring, instead of how hard we're putting in the effort for these things. Now, leave worry to God, just do the actions is important for everyone to understand. When you follow this, only then will you achieve inner peace. Only then will you be content with doing the best you can and not worrying about what else will happen. Now, I would like to close with reading one of my favorite quotes from Swami Vivekananda. Feel nothing, know nothing, do nothing, have nothing. Give up all to God and say utterly, thy will be done. Only then will you be able to cross this ocean of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Navya. Our next speaker is Manit Karmakar. He's 11th grader from Adelaide Stevenson High School. His hobbies include reading and Legos. He's going to talk about Swami Vivekananda, the great lover of India.
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank everyone here for taking the time to come and honor Swami Vivekananda. And I'd like to thank my guru for giving me this opportunity to speak on Swami Vivekananda. A patriot is not only someone who loves their country dearly, but someone who is willing to go above and beyond through pure devotion. Today, I'm honored to speak about one of India's greatest children, Swami Vivekananda. He was a visionary who lived not only for the masses, but for every person of all classes. From an early age, he's always been interested in philosophy, spirituality, and philosophy. And his quest for truth began when he first went to Sri Ramakrishna, who became a spiritual guide. But after Ramakrishna's unfortunate passing, Vivekananda started on a journey across India to truly see India from the common man's perspective. He traveled extensively in a humble and simple manner, and through his journey by foot and by train, he lived among the poor, shared their struggles, and became aware of their needs. He witnessed firsthand widespread poverty, illiteracy, and social divisions that plagued India under colonial rule. These experiences deepened his empathy for the suffering of the masses and solidified his belief in the need for social reform, education, and spiritual awakening to revitalize the nation. In his speeches, he emphasizes the first step to becoming a patriot is to feel for the starving millions. He spoke out against social evils that divided in society, such as caste discrimination and religious intolerance. And he urged his fellow countrymen to rise above these visions and embrace the idea of universal brotherhood. He taught the idea of seeing God in every human, Shiva Rane Jiva Seva, as a path to creating a compassionate and harmonious society. Swamiji realized that the real strength of India was the young, the youth, and the common people, and so education will be the strongest tool to empower the country. He declared, if the poor cannot come to education, education must come to them, at the plow, in the factory, everywhere. And his journey through India prepared him as his role as a representative of India's spiritual heritage and shaped his vision for India's future. One of the most defining moments of Swami Vivekananda's life as a lover of India came in 1893 when he represented India at the Parliament of World Religions in Chicago. Much like his travels across India, he faced much hardship. In fact, the day before the opening of the Parliament, he had to sleep in a boxcar in a railroad yard. But yet, he ignored the cold that pierced through his saffron robes and his aching hunger, but simply his determination and pure love for his country. At the Parliament of Religions, he began his speech with the memorial words, "Sisters and Brothers of America." This simple greeting received an incredible standing ovation and captivated the audience. Through his engaging speaking style, he introduced the world to the profound wisdom of Vedanta and the universality of Hindu philosophy. As Guruji mentioned, India was very seen as a dark place and full of no education, but with his speech, he really showed the other side of India that many Westerners had no idea about. He presented India as a land of spiritual enlightenment and emphasized the importance that India brought with religious acceptance and tolerance. He elevated not only India's global image, but also inspired us fellow Indians to take pride in their heritage, saying, "I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance." He countered the colonial narrative of India's backwardness and showed the whole world the relevance of India's ancient teachings. He truly wanted all of us Indians to love our country as dearly as he loved his country. Unfortunately, he faced many struggles even after his great successful speech at Parliament. He faced much criticism in the media, and he faced countless opposition from religious communities. Nonetheless, he never lost his soul, and he kept committed with his hard work that he didn't damage his health. Despite his ill health, his lack of money, he had to survive on barely any food, and he couldn't even pay his rent, and frequent opposition from all those around him, he kept on working to spread Hinduism and uplift his fellow people of India. During his travels to the United States and Europe, he worked tirelessly to counter misconceptions about India by defending Indian culture against Western criticism. And instead, he presented it as a source of profound wisdom and inspiration we can all take. His speeches and interactions highlighted India's potential and encouraged collaboration between the East and the West. By promoting mutual respect and understanding, he created a bridge that lasts even to this day. Truly, his efforts have inspired us Indians to take pride in being an Indian. After returning to India in 1897, he founds the Ramakrishna Mission in Kolkata to translate his vision into action. As we all know, the mission combines spirituality with practical service, focused on education, healthcare, poverty, and even disaster relief. Under his guidance, the Ramakrishna Mission became a notable center of Hindu philosophy and seva, even to this day. During famines, the Ramakrishna Mission has organized massive relief efforts and providing food and medical aid to those in need. It has built hospitals, dispensaries, and the mission has ensured that even the most marginalized communities have access to healthcare. The Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda's life work, became a crucial part of contemporary India, staying a big part of Indian society. His love went so deep that even after his passing, he continues to help India. His founding of the Ramakrishna Mission exemplifies Vivekananda's belief that serving humanity is the highest form of worship. The Ramakrishna Mission became a symbol of compassion and spirituality, inspiring countless across the globe to dedicate themselves to serving the community. Following Vivekananda's core belief, they only live who live for others. Due to Vivekananda's great efforts and influence, today the Ramakrishna Mission has over 200 branch centers across the globe and numerous in India and countries like USA, Brazil, France, and Japan. Swamiji's teachings had a profound influence on the Indian freedom movement. His emphasis on self-confidence, self-reliance, and collective effort resonated deeply amongst great leaders such as Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Subhash Chandra Bose. Swamiji's call, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, became a rallying cry for young Indians, inspiring them to dedicate themselves to the nation's cause. He truly believed the youth, us, we had the key to India's future and urged them to cultivate discipline and a sense of responsibility. As Swamiji's brother noted in a book, Swamiji wanted a band of selfless young workers who will educate and uplift the people. You young men, come up. You can do everything and you must do everything. Some may not be aware that Swamiji even influenced the great Jamsetji Tata. In the summer of 1893, him and Tata were traveling on the same ship, the SSS Empress of India. And they had met a couple times before, but this time they were really able to have a real conversation. And while they talked, Swamiji narrated his journey across India and all the difficulties he saw the common people face that he wanted to address. Tata, in turn, talked about his goal to lay the foundations of the steel industry in India. As the founder of one of India's largest conglomerates, he explained that he wanted to make India a strong industrial nation. Swamiji shared Tata's enthusiasm and added that the real hope in India lay in prosperity and progress of the ordinary people. He suggested to Jamsetji to focus on manufacturing in India to make sure the rural people of India had some livelihood. He impressed Tata with his deep patriotism. Swamiji remarked his famous words that resonated deeply with Tata. How wonderful it would be if you could combine the scientific and technological advancements of the West with the asceticism and humanism of India. And this really struck a chord within Tata. And they started to discuss ideas of starting a research institute in India. 5 years later, Tata wrote a letter to Swamiji and detailed his plans for the Research Institute of India and how inspiring Swamiji's words were to him. Their shared vision were realized years later, with the Tata Institute of Science being born in 1909 and then being renamed the great and prominent Indian Institute of Science in 1911. Swamiji never stopped caring for his people, even in the last years of his life. When the bubonic plague struck Kolkata in 1898, 121 years before modern ideas of fighting plagues, such as we all know the coronavirus, Swamiji wrote his plague manifesto for the city. And in it, he starts off by expressing his wish for everyone's safety. We feel happy when you feel happy. We suffer when you suffer. Therefore, during these days of extreme adversity, we are striving and ceaselessly praying for your welfare and an easy way to save you. He goes on to note many ways and many warnings and advice he had for the young, the masses, the common people, to make sure they were not panicking, and they were reassured, and they all stood stiff. Later, he and his disciples started major cleaning drives in the city that received much public support. Swami Vivekananda really redefined what it meant to be a patriot, a true lover of the country, by blending it with spirituality and service. He worked ceaselessly to uplift the weak, unite the divided, and ignite a sense of purpose in his fellow Indians. One cannot help but be reminded of his passionate plea. Feel, my children, feel. Feel for the poor, the ignorant, the downtrodden. Feel till the heart drops and the brain reels. Swamiji was not just a patriot, but a voice of a resurgent India. Through his actions and words, he awakened the nation to its potential and inspired generations to work towards a brighter future. His life reminds us that true patriotism is not just about pride, but about action. As we remember Swamiji on this day, let us try to embody his ideals and become true lovers of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. Our final speaker of this wonderful occasion is Sindhu Petrula. Sindhu is doing medicine at University of Wisconsin School of Medicine, and her hobbies include climbing. Sindhu is going to talk about Swami Vivekananda's education philosophy.
Pranam Maharshi, and pranam to everyone here. My name is Sindhu. I got introduced to the Vedanta Society through my wonderful mother. She's always inspired me to continuously work hard in whatever I set out to do, and has always told me to keep my culture and spirituality close to me on that journey. So thank you, Mom. I'm here today because Maharaj asked me to talk about Swami Vivekananda's passion toward education. So I set out to learn more about Swamiji's philosophy on education. And I want to share with you all today what I learned about Swamiji's vision, and hope you can all take something with you today from this talk. So I started out by trying to understand what is education. According to Swami Vivekananda, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man and woman. Manifestation, according to him, implies that we each have a hidden ability that is inherent in every human being. It's not merely about memorizing facts or acquiring knowledge through external sources, but rather self-development and self-discovery. It is about unlocking the inner potential of the human mind and spirit. For me, this meant, regardless of our circumstances, we can all attain education. Next, I wanted to understand, what does education contain? According to Swami Vivekananda, the training of the will is the most essential part of education. What is this training of the will? It means forming character, increasing one's strength of mind, and expansion of intellect, and standing on one's own feet. For character, he meant good character includes being honest, compassionate, and disciplined, and morally upright. Next, this next part is going to be important for all our young generation, including me, who's very distracted by information all around us through devices and screens. To Swamiji, the very essence of education is concentration of the mind, not the collection of facts. With the power of concentration, this would be the perfect instrument to collect facts at will and to do what we pursue. Education should also develop self-reliance and independent thinking. It should empower us to be confident and self-sufficient in our thoughts and actions. Swamiji famously urges the youth to arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. And in this, he meant we should not be limited by external forces in our pursuits. According to Swamiji, education should also include spirituality, so we can all have inner growth. Swamiji was deeply influenced by Vedanta and realized that education should lead us all to the divinity within ourselves. True education should also include physical education and development. Swamiji jokingly mentions to the youth, you will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita. You will understand the Gita better with your biceps, your muscles, a little stronger. Thus, a strong body is the foundation to supporting a strong mind and spirit. Next, what should we do with this education? According to Swamiji, education should have practical value to our society and make ourselves productive, meaningful members of society. Education should not focus on just theory, but inspire students to serve humanity and improve the world around them. Swamiji was also a firm believer that education should be for all people, regardless of caste, gender, or social class. He advocated for the education of women and marginalized people of society because he deeply believed that the progress of any country depends on the education of its people. This inclusive and universal notion of education would ultimately contribute to the uplifting of our society and lead to progress. In conclusion, Swamiji's educational philosophy is very, very holistic. Education should create a balanced person who develops physically, mentally, and spiritually. Education is not merely limited by academic learning, but it should create a well-rounded person that realizes their highest potential. Education should lead to empowerment, self-reliance, and social responsibility. With this, I hope you are all able to learn something today from Swamiji's vision of education and can all continue to educate yourselves daily. Thank you so much for letting me be able to speak on this on his auspicious birthday. Thank you.
I like to give this, the Chicago addresses, all the lectures that Swami Vivekananda delivered at the Parliament of Religion to these young speakers. When Swami Vivekananda came to the West, particularly America, he was the first Indian, we can say, who came to America. Indians were known to the Europeans, they were there in India. The Dutch, the French, the Britishers, they were already there in India. But the Americans were not there. It is a completely new country. And in our language, they used to say about America, Shat Samudra Taro Nodi Par. So what are the 13 rivers? Nodi means rivers. 13 rivers and 7 oceans out beyond that the country. That's true. So when we are here awake and they're all sleeping. So that completely different to be, but Swamiji came over here not knowing anything about America. So he was not knowing how cold it will be. And the devotees over there, they were also not knowing. Only one American was there in India, that was Cordell Albert. So he was a theosophist, and Swamiji went and asked him to help, but he was a different type of person. He said, you have to convert in my faith, then only I will help you. Swamiji said, I just want to know how is the country, weather, people. I said, no, I won't say anything. I will not help you. But anyway, Vivekananda said from there, if you go out over here, the first show that it shows how he changed the ships, then the trains, then he reached to the America, Chicago. And a completely new city, and people are different. And in that slowly he established. Can you imagine the strength? Now when we go, we are sure that somebody is there waiting in the airport. At least 5 times we will have the communication, telephone number, and then after reaching over there, the moment the flight is touching, immediately, are you there at the gate? And coming. So, and he came to a new country, completely unknown, and he was 29 years old only at that time. And that is the time he is coming. And it's a great responsibility. What is the responsibility? To introduce his country to a new world. America discovered many things. And they wanted to show it to the world for marketing, naturally. So they organized a huge program, the Columbian Exposition. And that was in 1893. So after the 400 years of the Columbus, so Columbian Exposition. One of the items was Oriental religion. They were having different type of other programs. The whole Chicago city was painted as white. It became named as the White City. And so many new buildings also came up. Only 2 buildings are now still there, and mostly they demolished. And that became the Chicago, thousands of people coming from all over. And from India also many they came to represent the different faiths. Vivekananda came uninvited completely because they never invited Hinduism. The Hinduism having so many different schools, so they were confused whom to invite. So perhaps that's why they were invited. And this was published, the information was published in the daily that's called the Hindu. Still that paper is there from the Madras, India. They came to know and they told Swamiji, you must go and represent Hinduism. You are the only Hindu sannyasi who can speak English. In those days it was a taboo to speak English. Why? Particularly for the sannyasis. Either Sanskrit or your mother tongue. English is a foreign language, so that was a taboo. They never spoke. But Vivekananda studied in Calcutta at a university, so obviously he was very good in English, and his mother taught him. Can you imagine? Vivekananda's mother in those days, our Indian ladies, they never went to school. So that was not a good thing that the ladies are going to school. But Vivekananda's mother, her father, he kept a teacher and she learned English. Vivekananda was teaching English from his mother. And slowly, he went to the school, college and university. And he was a very fluent English speaking, and very wonderfully used to use the words. So if you are reading the lectures, you will understand that. The flow. And the writing the letters, how to write a letter. Excellent. If you start reading the letter, as if you were just sitting before him, he's talking with you. So he changed the whole thing. At 29 years, he came over here, he saw that it is so costly, and the little money that the people they gave him, that was also going down. Then he remembered a lady, when he was traveling from Canada, and in the same compartment, another lady was sitting, the Miss Melbourne, and she told, Swamiji, if you have any problem, please contact me. I will keep you in our house. The only thing, you have to allow me to introduce you with my relatives and friends and neighbors. That was the first time they heard an Indian, very different looking, different garments, and he speaks English. So obviously, that was a piece to show. She told, I will give you food, shelter, but this is the condition. Some people, no problem. If they see from the window, I am inside, no problem. So, but I can save some money. So he accepted that. After reaching over here, staying in the hotel, spending so much of money, he thought, no, I am in trouble. Because it is in September, I have reached 1 month earlier. So again he took a train and went to the Boston, from the Boston to Annisquam. Still that village is there. Once I went to visit that. The Annisquam, the same village. It had not changed at all. And in the house that he was there, that was a women's guest house. And the people, the ladies used to stay there. But at that time, the vacation was going on, so they gave one room to Swamiji. Swamiji stayed over there. And that lady told her brother, and he was a professor of the university, that I got a person who speaks wonderfully about Hindu religion, and you were interested about the Indology. Why don't you go and talk to him? And the Professor John Wright was informed. Professor John Wright went to that village and stayed over there with his family. Every morning he used to come and talk to Swamiji, organized a lecture in that local church. That was the first time Vivekananda addressed the Americans. And from that church, see how the God was organizing the practices. So he gave the talk a few times over here in the villages. And he became acquainted how to speak and all that. Then he came to Chicago. But God, that time Chicago was completely changed. Thousands of people are there. No hotels were available. And the people were not allowing him because of his color of the body. So he walked from the station, Dearborn station, and he was walking all the way. He came in one place, he was tired, and that was the 9th September. And 11th September is the program. 9th September, he was exhausted in the night and he was thinking what to do. And I am going to die because no food, no water. Then let me die in a holy place. He saw a church. Still, that church is there. We always go and visit that church. Now they have changed that, but that particular building, I think they have given to rent. Those people are also very helpful. They say, oh, is it happened over here? I do not inside, but on the steps. Vivekananda went and sat on the steps of the church, ready to die. Now he was thinking that I am dying, it's a holy place, let me die over here. Perhaps it is not recorded anywhere, he never mentioned anywhere, but I think he was fighting with his guru, who instructed him to go. His guru was not there in body. He came in a vision and he told, you must go and you must do what I asked him to do. He came all the way. Now it was a time for him to die without food, without any friends nearby. And he was sitting there suddenly, and a lady exactly opposite the crossing the road. An aristocrat family lady, you can imagine, if an unknown person is there before your door, it is not India. Oh, our Atiti Devo Bhava will come, he is my God, is Atiti. Here they will come with the gun. While you are sitting over here, either they will call police or they will come and ask you to go away. That is the system of the society. But look at it. That is called miracle. Sometimes people ask whether miracle happens. This is the greatest miracle. That lady, and her photo is also here, she and her husband, Mr. and Mrs. Hell, she came crossing the road, asked the Swami, it seems that you are coming from a faraway land. Are you a representative of the Parliament religion? Because of the turban and all that dress. And she asked to the mother, we always address the ladies as mother, to sannyasis. The mother, I came for that purpose, but I don't have the credentials. I never knew. To speak on religion, I need a credential. Because in India, anyone is allowed to give him some advices about religion. Even in the train you are traveling, they will give you the advice. And the ticket checker also, if you have not purchased the ticket, he will say, next flight, he will suffer, so purchase the ticket this time. This is a wonderful country. Now, there, I had to get a certificate to speak. I never knew, no one knew. Now I am in trouble. Then she said, my husband is a very influential person. He will add in something. You come and stay with us. Vivekananda went and stayed with them. You can imagine the first time an Indian staying with a family and of a very rich person. And in their house, next day morning they talked about the husband and wife. They loved him so much. Can you imagine? They're so rich and well established in the society. They took that boy of 29, the young man of 29, to door to request for him to give him a chance. Just like the parents, they take when I see the parents coming with the young boys and girls and go to different universities, like that, that they took him to different people. Please give him a chance. It was the 10th September. And 10th September, the last day, in the evening there was a dinner party, and the president of the committee threw the dinner, and they went with Swami Vivekananda. And he argued, you people don't have any representative from the Hindu religion. It's the most ancient religion. And here is a person who can really speak about Hinduism. You must give him a chance. You know how much after a lot of discussion, they said 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. And next day morning at about 10 o'clock, he started walking with all the others. But American means everything well arranged. In India, what we do? After the program is over, then we arrange. We never plan in that way. But here, everything is so determinative and completed. So they took him from the house of the Mr. and Mrs. L to that, the Leos, no? The pictures are all there. Now that house has become a very huge hotel. The Hotel Hilton. Did you see the Hotel Hilton in Chicago? That was the house. And you can imagine how rich they were. They were Presbyterians. They allowed him. And the wife was little hesitant because the color of the person is different. And other white collar speakers are also there. Will they allow him to sit on the same table? And it is 1893. So naturally, that was not common. But that gentleman said, I like that young man. He's really a lively. He knows so many things. I like to talk to him to learn about religion, about philosophy. If all of the guests go away, let them go. He should be with me. He was allowed. And he used to go along with other people, 11 September, 10 a.m., he was walking with 9 other religious leaders and entered into that hall, and he was sitting over here. There were 7,000 people in front of him. Young man who never spoke, only in that Anisquam, the little village. And now he was thinking, my God, what am I going to speak? Everyone brought ready-made their speeches. Naturally they were delivered, but I am going to speak. He started meditating on Saraswati. Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Kali, Mother, please help me. Oh Goddess, please help me. This is the only opportunity to introduce India. They're all looking at me. If I fail this time, we fail forever. I must have to introduce India to this educated world, and this is the last opportunity. First time they announced their name, he said, give me another chance. Second, third, he was going on saying, sorry, next time. Then there was a little break, maybe a tea break, and then again they all sat. Then one elderly pastor, he was sitting by his side. He understood that he is constantly changing. He whispered, young man, this is the last time they will call you. And if you say no, they won't call you again. So it may be that he has heard the discussion of the organizers. He said, this is the last time. Whatever you like to say, go and say. And you know what he said. The fourth time, last time, when they announced the name, Swami Vivekananda, and in those days the newspaper, they spell in a very peculiar way. The Swami Vivekananda, naturally is a new name, so they spell, and they announced his name. He went, stood over there, and placed both the hands on his chest like a hero. He spoke only one sentence. Sisters and brothers of America. You know what? 7,000 Americans, educated, Americans and Europeans also, they stood up and clapped for 2 minutes. 5 minutes were allowed for him. 2 minutes gone. Only because of this line. And I always wonder, this is an English word only. This is sisters and brothers, nothing Sanskrit or nothing new. So why they were mesmerized and then stood up and clapped for 2 minutes? It's not that I'm saying or somebody wrote. It is in the report that was published afterwards, the Parliament. 2 volumes, it is with me. 2 minutes they clapped. And after that he spoke at a very small, short speech, but then all whenever, whatever happened, in that he was always invited to speak and speak last. If Vivekananda's name is not there, people won't come. So they used to go and see where the name of Vivekananda. He became immediately known as hero, and all the doors were open to him. And at that time, all the rich and high people, they started inviting him. And he went over there, talked to them, and the philosophers, the professors. He was the first foreign lecturer in the University of Chicago. University of Chicago started in 1892. 1892. So he, in 93, gave the talk. First lecture, and then everywhere. A company came. They told that we will arrange all the speeches, and if you can speak, whatever the money will come, 25% yours, 75 hours. So naturally he wanted to get the money for his country. He said, okay, he never knew American rules and regulations, my God. And he signed that. You know, nowadays, even today, 2025, before signing, I send it to our volunteers. You read and tell me, shall I sign? Because I do not know what they are writing. The small, the lectures are there. What they write, I do not know. But Swamiji wrote to give the signature. And that was there every day. Yes, every day, 10 lectures. Can you imagine? Is it possible for a human being to talk, and that too an audience who never knew about India, knew about Hinduism, knew about anything that he's going to speak, the Vedanta. Even the words that he was uttering was completely new for him. But the people liked him, and sometimes very challenging. He went to the Texas, and they asked him to speak standing on a stool under a tree. And he stood over there and he was giving a talk. And when he was giving a talk on the meditation, the concentration of mind, you know what happened? Those people who were standing over there, all the Texas people, and the two other guns hanging from the west, they took and started shooting, and the bullets were passing by very close to him. Can you imagine? And he never ever showed any fear. He went on talking. Why? He was truly absorbed in speaking. He was not like the ordinary people that you're saying something and behaving in the other way. He was not at all afraid. And that happened to Vivekananda. Everywhere he went and spoke about the India, Indian culture, Indian women, Indian religion, Indian culture, everywhere he spoke about, introduced India, the harbinger of modern India. And some Indian people started writing against him. Right from India, they started writing to the actresses by the state. Oh, he is not a Brahmin, he is not supposed to be a sannyasi. Moreover, he has crossed the ocean, he has lost it. And all these Indians, the jumble things that is nothing to do with the religion. They started complaining with these people. They were accommodating Swamiji. And these people, they loved him. And they told Swamiji, why don't you give an answer to these people? You know what Swamiji said? And that is called Vedanta. He never criticized anyone. Even those who were criticizing him in this foreign country without helping anything. And he talked about them. He said, you know my personality? Either you should appreciate me or you should criticize me. You cannot ignore me. That is me. This is called Vivekananda. Great confidence. But never ever say anything to anyone negative, everything positive, everything positive. Those people who are talking about religion without knowing anything, he talked about them. He said, this is actually from the lower truth to higher truth. There is not anything wrong. It's the lower truth to higher truth we are traveling. And he gave the stress on education. And in the education, about education, he said, education is the panacea of all evils. When I talk to our friends in India, I write to the other people, I really appreciate how the schools over here, big schools, all amenities, facilities. So that should be there. Slowly developing in our country also, in other places also. And what is education? The two, they spoke about education. Education actually he said, definition. One education, I want that education by which one can stand on his own feet. That is one education. Not that everybody has to go to university, become a professor. But he should learn something to earn his livelihood. That's all. So that is here. And he said, education, I want that education by which one can stand on his own feet. Second education, man-making, character-building education. There is a character, there is a human mind. That's the second. Third, they say, education is the manifestation of the perfection that is in man. That is for the monks. That is for the recusers. That is for the spiritual people. That is the perfection. And what is perfection? No differences. Well, this is my family, this is my country, and this is my language, this is my religion. Nothing like that. They love everyone. Whoever is good, they are their friends. So that is called the perfection. So that is not for ordinary people or all, but the two, standing on their own feet and man making character building. And what is character? He can stand in front of the temptations, fear. No, this is my duty, I am going to perform that. So this is exactly what he wanted, and he wanted freedom. The two different slogans he gave. For India, he said, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the first condition of growth. And for the America and Europe, he said, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the song of the soul. The beautifully he presented. Why? Constantly if you hear, you are a sinner, you are a sinner, you are a sinner, you lose confidence. You know, I am a human being. What wrong have I done? Right from my birth, I didn't do anything wrong. So why then I am a sinner? Somebody somewhere, we do not know in the story, he didn't listen to God, and that original sin is coming to me, and I should suffer. Why? So they were breaking down, and he showed them, told them, sinner, it is a sin to call a man so. There is no sinner. We make mistakes. Tremendous change came everywhere. The effect was really, really wonderful. There are so many philosophers. They accepted that. And they accepted Vivekananda's philosophy. Friends, the Vivekananda is not just a person. He is an ideology, an inspiration. He gives constant inspiration to each and everyone. And his ideas slowly manifesting in different countries and different places. You know, all of South Africa, there are so many centers. And then we Swami Vivekananda statues. They worship Vivekananda. They don't know Ramakrishna that way, but they understand Vivekananda. And they're translating Swami Vivekananda's books. Even in China, they are translating Vivekananda's books. Why the inspiration? There is no particular thing, and talk about religion. It is the manifestation of the divinity that is already in man. The humanity is having the divinity, and divinity is nothing but unselfishness and love. And that should manifest. Swami Vivekananda, he is inspiring us to do that for each and every one. If you read his book, you will get really, really inspired. And he is telling, I like to go to the church and pray with the Christians. I like to go to the mosque, sit with the Muslims and pray with them. I like to go and meditate with the Hindus. I like to learn everything, and that perfection, if I may, reach to there, which is one. Some of the speakers, they mentioned that. What is God? God is one. And from that one, all these many has come. And we may look different. Maybe our language is different, culture different, dresses are different. But we are the same because we have the consciousness within us. And that is Vedanta. Vedanta says we are all conscious beings. Without the consciousness, this body has no value. Whether brown, whether black or white, no value. The body will be burned or buried. But the value is the consciousness. And that consciousness reflects in our mind. And mind should be strong and very, very positive, never negative. Now in this present day world, where every time we are afraid that the third world war may break, and then the whole thing will crumble down, we need very positive mind, positive leadership, and who can really, really tell people that we are all divine. Let's make this whole world as heaven. Why we have to die and go to heaven? Here in this world, we can transform the legal place as the heaven. And what is heaven? understanding each other, loving each other, helping each other, praying for each other. That's all. So that is Vivekananda, and he is our ideal. So let us, I don't know whether this is with you or not. There is a prayer about Vivekananda. There are 5 stanzas. You may please repeat after me. I don't think it is there. The bottom is X. I wonder at the time of Jesus, whether cakes were there. When they talk of big cakes to the Lord Jesus, and he never saw cakes. Okay. We offer that food to our gods, the food that I like. So that is nothing wrong. So please repeat after me. Anita drisheshu Vivicha nityam Tasmin Samadhata Ihasma Lidaya Viveka Vairagya Vishuddha Chityam Yoso Viveki Tamaham Namami Vivekajananda Nimagna Chityam Viveka Danahika Vinodashilam Viveka Bhasa Kamaniya Kantim Vivekinam Tam Satatam Namami Ritancha Vijnanam Adhisrayataya Nirantaram Jadi Madhyamtahinam Sukham Surupam Prakaroti Yasya Anandamurti Tamaham Namami Suryo Yathadamvi Tamo Nihanti Vishnur Yathadushta Janam Chinati Tathaiva Yasya Kila Nitra Lobham Rupam Tritapam विमुखी करोति तं देशिकेन्द्रं परमं पवित्रं विश्वस्य पालं मधुरं यतीन्द्रं हिताय नृणां नरमूर्तिमन्तं विवेक आनन्द अहं नमामि। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्द सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे नमः शिवाय शान्ताय कारणत्रय हेतवे निवेदयामि स्वात्मानं गतिस्तं परमेश्वर तव तत्त्वं न जानामि कीदृशोऽसि महेश्वर यादृशोऽसि महादेव तादृशाय नमो नमः। Vivekananda is considered as the Shiva, incarnation of Shiva, so this Shiva mantra. Now there is the Arati. In the Arati there are 5 things we offer. First is the fire, then the water, then the flower, and afterwards a piece of cloth, that is the space symbolizing, and the air. The 5 main things by which everything has come, that is called Pancha Mahabhuta. Pancha means 5, Mahabhuta, the great matter, Shiti, Apa, Teja, Marut and Homa. So all over the Hindus, they operate this. Jai Swamiji. जय भगवान श्री राम कृष्ण देव की जय महामाई की जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय गंगा माई की जय स्वामी तुरानंद महाराज की. Now the last is we will have this Pushpanjali. I will repeat the mantra and you please repeat after me. 3 times we will say this mantra. All you got the flowers? Should I? Okay. Om Oim Isha Shachandana Pushpanjali Srimad Vivekanandaya Namaha Om Oim Isha Shachandana Pushpanjali Srimad Vivekanandaya Namaha Om Oim Isha Shachandana Pushpanjali Srimad Vivekanandaya Namaha. This pranam mantra that already we have chanted. Namasri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapoharine Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. I am so happy that I was wondering whether you people will be able to come or not. There's so much of snow. And first I saw that 10 o'clock it will stop, but it continued up to 11. But still all of you have come, and so many young children. I'm really very happy and pray to Swamiji to bless you all. May all your prayers be fulfilled. Of course, all positive prayer. Be fulfilled and answered by Swamiji. Please remember Swamiji because he is the inspiration. Whenever you are thinking that you are depressed and you are not able to work, remember Vivekananda. And he is there, always to inspire us. Some of you, I could not provide perhaps the chairs, but you are standing for a long period of time. But please come, offer your flower, and then go down, have the prasad with all. Thank you. Our ashrama will be closed for January and February, but these programs will be there. I mean, that very morning puja, evening arati will be there. If you like to attend, you can always come. Volunteers will be there to attend you. And in our home of harmony, there also one volunteer is there. Anytime you like to visit, you can visit. In the Ganges also, you like to go and stay, volunteers will be there to attend. Only lectures only there. You are free from lecture.